So our first speaker is Vernessa Pollard, JD. She is a distinguished FDA regulatory attorney and a founding board member of MedTech Color, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to building community through thought leadership, professional pathways for underrepresented professionals across the medical technology ecosystem. And I should share that MedTech Color and diversity by doing work very collaboratively and closely together and have over the last 5 years. In her legal career, Vernessa serves as chair of the FDA regulatory practice at DLA Piper, which is a global law firm where she provides strategic legal, regulatory, and compliance counsel to medical device, digital health, biotech, and life science companies navigating the complex U.S. FDA frameworks. Through her career, Vernessa has served several organizations, including the FDA, as an associate chief counsel in the FDA's Office of Chief Counsel. Vernessa's leadership within MedTech Color and other life science organizations really has underscored her commitment to the MedTech industry and her dedication to expanding access, representation, and opportunity for all. And I might add that she's a very dear friend of mine, and I love the work that she does. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Vernessa.
Oh, thank you, Ingrid. And thank you to Claudine and the entire D by D team for the extraordinarily important work that you're doing. It's really an honor to be invited to speak today, and I'm looking forward to sharing with everybody. All right, so this is me, and I'm not going to go through the slide, but this is a snapshot of my professional life today. There are highlights of some of the important professional milestones, including being a founding member and a board member of MedTech Color, which is near and dear to my heart, but also leading a team of lawyers at the third largest global law firm in the world. But there are also more important aspects of my life here, being a wife to my husband of 27 years, who's my best friend and my ride or die, a mom to three incredible young adults, I try to call them, not kids anymore. A daughter to two wonderful parents. My mom just celebrated her 90th birthday in the last couple weeks, an aunt, a friend, and of course, a mentor to many talented people in law, in med tech, and in life sciences. But of course, like many of the speakers today and many of you, I didn't start here. And there were many bumps and a few failures and some hard lessons along the way. So today I'd like to share a few things that I've learned, a few things that I try to practice, and how those things have informed who I am, what I do, and any success that I've had thus far. So this is me, also me. And this is me at about age 4 in Grenada, in the Caribbean, where I was born, probably, a few months before I immigrated to the US. And this picture says a lot, including that I wasn't into having my picture taken back then. But it also shows that even as a little kid, I had a love of statement jewelry and a pop of color. But it also doesn't say things that are also relevant and important. I'm an immigrant. I am a first generation college graduate. I'm the first lawyer in my family ever. I come from an economically disadvantaged background, and everyone in my house worked growing up. We were West Indian, and everybody had a job, including me. We were rich in love, we were rich in laughter, but there was never enough money, ever. Um, and also, what I want to talk about on this slide are what I call sightlines. And sightlines are people that are in your field of vision that are important road marks or hallmarks. They're people that have aspirational accomplishments, characteristics, and you can see them. And they sort of illustrate the notion that you can't be what you can't see. So having those professional sightlines have been very important to me in my career. And so I'll talk through a few of them very quickly. The first is my mom. My mom is courageous. And her life story provided one of the core lessons for me, and one of the core lessons that inform my life. And that is that you have to be fearless, even when you're not sure what the outcomes are going to be. And you have to bet on yourself, even if nobody's willing to bet on you. And she did this at three critical points. First, when she was 13, as the middle child of 8 children, whose father had died, whose mother was working to keep the family together, my mom left home against the wishes of her own mother, walked miles to the nearest city, found a job at a hotel, and became the primary care breadwinner for her entire family at the age of 13. Next, when she decided to leave Grenada to immigrate to the US because the economic and political currents at the time in our home country made her dreams and wishes for her children seem untenable. And third was when I was in high school, having been accepted to Howard. We didn't have enough money. We didn't know how I was going to get through the 4 years. And my mom said, let's just get through the first, and we'll figure it out. Take the risk. The second is Dominique Devereaux. And Dominique Devereaux, for those of you who are younger than 50, was a character in the 80s nighttime soap opera Dynasty. And she was played by Diahann Carroll, who's a venerated Black actress. And Dominique Devereaux, for me, in some ways, represented the American dream. Like, and Dynasty was appointment television for my family. And it was a top-rated show at the time, and a lot of the conversation was around the fact that she was a Black actress in a leading role. I mean, it was on the news, and it was a subject of discussion. And what she represented for me as a sightline is that she was aware that she was the only Black woman in the room, and she owned it, and she was authentic, and she embraced it, and she used it as a superpower. And she was fly. And for those of you that are, again, of a different vintage, that means that she was fierce and stylish. And so for me, she was the embodiment of what the American dream could be. The next is Sherry Blunt. Sherry Blunt was my legal communications professor at Howard University in the 90s. She also was fly, but she was substantively brilliant, demanded a lot of her students. At the time, she was the vice president, deputy general counsel, and corporate secretary of of PBS, the Public Broadcasting Service. And I didn't know what any of those words or titles meant at the time, but she introduced me to the concept that there was something called regulatory law. I knew what a litigator was, and those are people that argue cases in court. And I knew kind of what a corporate lawyer was, and those are people who do deals. But she was a regulatory lawyer and introduced me to the fact that there was this middle, and a very important middle, and really sparked in me the possibility that I could become a lawyer. Next is Rick Blumberg. Rick Blumberg was my boss at FDA. And Rick Blumberg was brilliant, and he was tough, and he introduced me to the importance of feedback, the ability to receive it with grace, even when it's harsh, and the importance of giving it authentically, respectfully, and truthfully, especially when it's critical to driving outcomes. He used curse words as punctuation, and he would not have fared well in the current era of safe spaces and soft parenting. But he was everything to me and the making of me as a regulatory lawyer. He's not the picture of the mentor that I thought I wanted, but he was every bit the mentor that I needed. And so the takeaway is from him is to embrace feedback, to seek it, to be able to receive it, and also be open. That's because sometimes your mentors don't come in the package or the form that you think they do or would, or you wish they would. But what matters is that you will know that they are true mentors because they're personally invested in your success and your well-being. And last is myself. I have taken all of the courage, fearlessness, fierceness, authenticity, the substantive knowledge, the feedback that these people have poured into me, and I've tried in my life and my career to practice those things, but also to pay it forward, which is part of the reason that I'm happy to be here today. So, what's an FDA regulatory lawyer anyway? I love this cartoon. It's one of my favorite FDA cartoons because it says, we heard that laughter is the best medicine, and beginning on Monday, we're regulating it. And it goes to the notion that FDA regulates every aspect of our daily lives. It's an agency that regulates about a quarter of the nation's economy, from pet food, cosmetics, tobacco, pharmaceuticals, and of course, medical devices, even AI, some aspects of the software that exists on our cell phones. And all of those products and all of the requirements to get them the market and to keep them on the market have laws attached to them at every stage, from clinical trials to advertising and promotion to post-market safety. So as an FDA regulatory lawyer, I'm a trusted advisor, I'm a problem solver, I'm an advocate at times, and often a translator between my clients and their regulator. But all of that incorporates authenticity, the substantive knowledge, the willingness to give and receive feedback, and the willingness to sometimes mentor, sometimes translate, and do all of these things all the time. So the traits of being a successful lawyer are also, to me, the traits that matter in business and in life. I think of it as a stool that has three legs. You have to know your space and have substantive expertise. You've got to have business acumen, so you have to understand the businesses that you operate in or the business of your employer. And you have to have a brand and a reputation that validates your substantive expertise and your business acumen. If any one leg of the stool is out of balance, then you're out of balance. And so the work is constantly striving to balance and perfect all three legs. And so some ways that we do that, I'm not going to go through everything on this list. I hope the slides will be available, and I'm happy to provide them if needed. But I think the key takeaway in the substantive expertise is I don't believe in faking it till you make it. You can't fake knowledge, so you have to really invest in that. And people who know will know when you're being authentic. And I say I don't know every day, even after practicing for almost 30 years. But what I do commit to is finding the answer and figuring it out. And I think people respect it when you're honest about things like that. In the brand and reputation piece, I think the feedback is important. It's always good to pressure test your perceptions about yourself because sometimes you find some gaps. And also, I think the importance of cultivating those professional sightlines, those people that are guideposts for what's possible. And in the business acumen piece, I think it's really important to really identify and spend some time thinking about who's your ideal client, who's your ideal employer or investor, and why, and what is the value that you're bringing to them and the value that they're bringing to you. And among these things, read 10Ks, read public filings. It's a great, easy way to try to understand how businesses work, the things that influence their choices, and how you fit into the value chain for those organizations. And so that's it. It really is speed mentoring. So I hope that you got some nuggets and some takeaways, and I'm looking forward to talking and sharing with all of you. So thank you.